Hello, good evening everybody. We have a new challenge today, playing against a 2138 player. And we have the lovely najdorf defense. Now in the najdorf, I've played so many lines during my lifetime that I'm a bit, let's say, not sure what to play, but let's go for some kind of an English attack setup with bishop e3. Now he will probably play bishop e6 here. Now white has some choice, so f3 would be just a regular English attack. Let's play h3. This is a bit tricky sideline that that white has in this position. So the idea is to control the square on g4, and in these variations a lot of the times white plays the move f2 to f4 in one go rather than f3 and only in the future f4. So apparently my opponent is a bit surprised by this move. He stops to think. He played his bishop to e7. This is one of the lines. And now I have a couple of choices. I can play here queen f3 is one option. I can try to go back into some kind of English attack, but let's play the move g4. This is one of the most aggressive moves in this position. White is trying to make some attack on the king side, so if black is to castle now, he will get immediately after some pressure. And I believe that the most critical move here for black is this move that he played, the pawn to d5. So in general we know that in chess, when your opponent plays on the sides of the board, on the flanks, you should counter in the center of the board. So this is why black played this move d5 after I played this move h3 and g4, which were a bit not, let's say, far from the center of the board. So we have an interesting situation here. White is under some checks, but I have some options to go with my king. So let's see, where do I go? I have king e2, I have king f1, and I have king d1. I'm a bit puzzled where to put my king. I don't want to put my king on e2 so much, because then I will be under some pressure with bishop c4 check. So generally I want to keep this diagonal opened for my bishop. That's like king f1. Now, so my immediate threat is to take this pawn on b7. Yeah, now he played his knight to c6. I'm not sure if this is the most accurate move. Now I have two ideas here. I can either play my knight to c5, so attacking his bishop and his pawn. But I really like this move, bishop to d5. So what I really want to try and achieve here is a situation where I have a strong knight on the d5 square against his a bit useless bishop on h4. And now it's a bit difficult for black. It's a bit difficult for black to avoid these exchanges. If black is ignoring the threat and just making a move like long castle, then I can actually take on e6 and double his pawn, so I don't think this is too clever. So once again my opponent stops to think for a bit, but I don't think he have too much of a choice here. Probably he has to take. Now this is the kind of a situation that I wanted to achieve. Now my knight is very solid on d5, and I can always support it by a pawn from c4 or from e4. So my position should be good enough now. I like my position. Even though black is fine, of course, I think black's main chances for counterplay are either connected with the advanced pawn to f5 or the pawn to h5, trying to open up some lines for his rooks. So he played short castle, perhaps thinking about pawn to f5. So I think it's a good time for me to get my king out of this f file, which is very likely to be opened, maybe even right now. So I don't want my king to be in the line of fire. Basically, I don't see much of a counterplay for black here, either than trying to go for some f5 ideas related. You can also prepare the move f5 with such a move like pawn to g6, with the idea to be able to recapture with the pawn after he plays f5. So let's see. Knight e7. So he's trying to fight against my strong knight on d5. This is actually a very sensible move. Maybe the best move for him. Now I can exchange right away, but I think I will first try to seize the open file. It looks logical. Now it's actually very likely that black will try to put even more pressure against my knight with such a move like rook d8. Yeah, he played his f rook. I don't think it's matters that much. Now once again I have some choices. Generally I like white's position. He has nice control in the on the light squares, and I have a quite kind of a pleasant choice here. I can try to support my knight with a move like e4 or c4, and also I have some more tactical possibilities like this move knight. I think I will go with knight b6, attacking his rook. And the thing is that black doesn't have too many good squares actually for the rook. He can try to put his rook on a7 or b8. And now I think I have some choices. So actually my initial idea was to play knight to d7 here with some double attack, but now I can see that he can place his rook on c8 and attack my pawn. So this is not too promising. I can try to advance my pawn on c2 with the idea to be able to just protect the pawn, and I can play the aggressive knight c5. Let's go for the aggressive, because now I have a very straightforward threat of knight c to d7, and his rook on b8 is practically trapped. So black has to react to this trap. So the logical way for him to deal with it would be to exchange the rooks, but this is also a bit of something that black doesn't want to do. So he played his knight to 6-6, but I think he just blundered this possibility because I don't see right now exactly where his rook is going. And if I will be able to capture his rook, I don't see much of a compensation for him in this situation. Yeah, so he decided to sacrifice his rook, but I think I have now a good chance to penetrate with my rook to the 7th rank. And this is a very active post for the rook. Basically, yeah, so he decided to resign at this point. I think it's quite justified that he resigned here. Black is ultimately lost here, being an exchange down and having the worst position. So probably his critical mistake was about around this point. In 97, the computer does not seem to like this move. White has a slight advantage here. I'm wondering at this point, yeah, bishop. So he played quite well, and at this point, as I said, black should have probably created some sort of counterplay with the move f5, and after taking, yeah, trying to play this kind of position. And I believe white is still a little bit better. I like his control over the light squares here, but black has his own counterplay, his own chances. After 97, the computer even thinks I should have played knight b6 straight away, but after rook a to d1, rook d8, knight b6, yeah, it seems like this position is already very difficult. So he says that he should exchange and then try to create counterplay with f5. But after rook d7, yeah, this is a very passive situation for black, and I don't think he would be able to, let's say, hold his position together at this point. So seems like a solid enough game. Hope you enjoyed it. See you next time. Good night.